it is June of 2022 and things are looking up. Hey folks, it's Tim Little. I'm a nighttime landscape artist living on the east coast of Massachusetts on Cape Cod. And welcome to a rare daytime video. I am out tonight with my DJI Mini 2, and I thought I would take it for a little bit of a sunset flight and show you one of my favorite places, which is Nobska Lighthouse. It's about 15 minutes away from where I currently live, and it's one of my favorite photo spots. I've shot here a ton at night. So let's take the drone off in that direction and we'll get some nice aerials, and I'll tell you a little bit about the lighthouse itself and show you this immediate area. I'm going to go up to an altitude of about 100 feet to start. And for you drone folks out there, I am not in any particular area that I need any special clearance. I am not going to be flying directly over roads for extended amounts of time or people. But we are going to check out this beautiful lighthouse. Now, I got my Part 107 back in, I think it was January, and if you're someone who's thinking about getting your drone license, you're going to hear all sorts of stories about how it was the easiest thing they've ever taken, it was the hardest thing they'd ever taken. I saw videos that said, hey, I didn't study at all, and I got 100. And then I heard people say, I studied for weeks and weeks and weeks and failed the test 3 times. I am a learn by doing type person. I'm a very visual learner, and of course that is obvious since I'm a photographer. I love just visuals in general, and if I can adapt that to learning, say through watching videos or watching other people do things, that's the best way for me to go. And so I did a combination of watching videos and then also doing some reading. I got the drone book and a lot of online practice tests, and that worked for me. I think it took me about 3 weeks of studying a couple hours each night, and went in and took the test and got an 85, so I was pretty happy with that overall. So here we are over at Nobska Lighthouse, and I'll do a little bit of a spin around here so you can see Woods Hole Harbor. If you've not been to Cape Cod before, this is on the area called Upper Cape in Falmouth. Now, we have an East Falmouth, West Falmouth, and North Falmouth, but we don't have a South Falmouth to the best of my knowledge, which I guess would be the village of Woods Hole. And I know that there's a boat sneaking by here. There it is. That's one of the Steamship Authority vessels. So if you head out to Martha's Vineyard from Woods Hole in the summer, you're going to go through this harbor and you'll get a fantastic view of Nobska Lighthouse and Nobska Point. I'm going to get a little bit higher up in the air here, currently at 104 feet. And what I'll do is I'll get us to about 200. And then I'll roll the camera down and we'll get a nice, there we go, nice grounds view here. So this lighthouse, Nobska, is currently under the purview of the town of Falmouth and the Friends of Nobska Light. Back in 2013, the Coast Guard decided that they were going to give up the property, which is a pretty common thing with lighthouses apparently. I guess one of the things that they like to do is offer them to municipalities under the condition that they maintain the structure and also they allow public access or public enjoyment. And if there's no takers with the municipality, what'll end up happening is the highest bidder comes in and the lighthouse becomes privately owned, which would be very sad for a lighthouse like this because it's so easy to get to. A lot of people just drive by here and are surprised to even find the lighthouse because they're not looking for it, and most lighthouses seem like they're a little bit of a hike, but not this one. As you can see, there's plenty of places to park and visit, and they just went through a big refurbishment in the last few years. So once they got it from the Coast Guard, I think the first thing they tackled was the tower, and gave that a nice fresh paint job. It was starting to rust a little bit, so it definitely needed it. And then over the last couple of years during the pandemic, they went ahead and replaced all the shingles. I think they did the roof, and they also went ahead and did some grounds work. And it just looks absolutely fantastic at this point. So here's a couple quick interesting things. The original structure was put on the grounds back in 1829, I believe. And then this tower got added in the 1870s. And of course the lighthouse keepers, the lightkeeper's house there got built on and added onto and so on. And then sometime around 1888, the fourth order Fresnel lens that's up there now got installed. So it's been operating since then, initially with the old whale oil wick system, and then later, I think in the 1919 time frame, or somewhere close to there, they ended up putting an electric system in. And that's been operating with that halogen colored light, which I absolutely love. Now, I noticed over the last couple years they've done some changes to how this has been lit. The tower gets lit from some downward lights that face the ground from the top of the tower, and initially it looked like they had done some sort of like hyper whites, which made it hard for me to shoot doing my night work. It just made everything look sort of blue. But I noticed about a year ago that they had switched over to the more warmer incandescent color tones, which I appreciate. And I don't know if there was some feedback that somebody gave them or somebody just made a different decision, but it definitely helped me do my photography. Oh, we got another ship coming in here. I'm just going to go ahead and rotate around. Just do a little spin here and see if we can see the other one coming in. So one's coming and one's going, which is pretty standard. If you come out this way and hang out and enjoy some time here, undoubtedly you'll see one of these ships going by. And I know they look pretty tiny on the video here, but they're actually pretty good size. It's June 6th, and it's about 7:45. And we're about a half an hour away from an actual sunset here. I'm not going to be able to fly that long. I've got about 60% of my battery left, and I'm at about 1,500 feet away from my control location here. That's about as far as I've gotten away from myself with the drone. Let's go back to looking at the lighthouse. That's Martha's Vineyard off in the distance. So when you're at Nobska Point at night, you get this great view of the vineyard. And by the way, this time of year, the Milky Way goes right across that horizon line. So it is a great place to view the Milky Way if you can put the lighthouse behind you, because of course that lighthouse is pretty bright since that is its function. Now, up until around 2013, the Coast Guard sector captain got to live here. Can you imagine that? Living on this property with your family? I think I could deal with that, yeah. I got to tour the house a couple years back. They had it open to the public, and this was before they did a lot of the internal construction. From what I could tell, the last couple years, it looks like they gutted the inside, and they're working on making it into a museum. I think it's actually opening this year. Might already be open at this point. But check out the Friends of Nobska Light website. You'll get all the details on that, hours, parking, and what they have to offer. But I remember being a kid going up in the tower here. They used to have these occasional days that they'd open it up, and you'd go up this wrought iron staircase. It's all red brick inside, and you'd get to be up in that light room. But they tell you, don't touch that lens. Your finger oil on that lens could be bad news for the whole system. So you had to be real careful. And then you could even squeeze out a little door and end up right around that sort of gantry overlook area. So that was kind of a neat thing to do. This is Woods Hole Harbor over here. Great place to see a sunset. Now I'm using the DJI Mini Auto Video setting here, so it probably got a bit dark just because it's trying to deal with the sun since we're faced in that direction. And let's roll down a little bit and I'll show you. This is Nobska Point here. I've actually climbed out here on a few occasions to do some night photography. There's some really good angles. Now I'm not suggesting you go climb rocks over here. If you do, bring a friend and just be real careful. But I did get some rather nice angles. One of those little structures there you see to the right of the lighthouse is an old foghorn building. Now, my understanding is that the foghorn does not toot anymore. I don't know why that's the case. Maybe the folks living nearby didn't want to hear it anymore. Maybe it just wasn't needed. I don't know. But when I used to visit down here in the 90s, and the fog would roll in, you could hear that foghorn. I like the sound of it, but I imagine if you're one of those houses back there, you're probably not overly interested in hearing that horn too much. I'm down to about 50% battery now. I'm still at about 200 feet. Let's get another look over here at the lighthouse. I'm going to just get us a little bit of altitude. The beautiful thing about the DJI Mini 2 is it's a fairly quiet drone, which means at that altitude, it's unlikely anybody's going to hear me. I don't want to harass anybody or ruin anyone's experience, so try to be careful about that. And we'll get right around the top area there, and then we'll just roll right down. And there you go. There's a nice view there. Highly recommend you come check this out if you are in the area. I'll throw some pictures up here when I edit this video of how this place looks at Christmas. Bravo if you're the person who does that type of work and you're seeing this video. Well done. We all really appreciate that effort there. I'm down to about 45% battery, so I'm going to spin us around here, and I'll give you a view of the shoreline as we work our way back to where I'm flying from. I'm actually just down the road here in front of my truck on the beach, keeping an eye on things. This is private beach property here. So let's fly on down the road and give us a little bit of a lift on the view here. Right now I'm at 244 feet and I'm about 1,000 feet away. If your eyes are real good, as you look down the curve of the road here, you might see my yellow FJ Cruiser with the white top, and I'm just about right in front of that, but a little bit on the beach to get myself out of the road here. So let's head on over. I shot this back in, I think the first time I shot it was 2010. And then I shot it again in 2016. And I used all sorts of colors and single flashlights to accomplish what I am going to show you here on the screen. But it's a really neat place. If you liked this and you want me to do a couple more, just to show you some other areas around here, I'm happy to do it. I really just like to go out and test this thing out and make sure everything's working fine, and like to run the batteries down a little bit because sometimes I don't use this for a while, and I definitely don't want to worry about storing batteries fully charged. It is not recommended in most circles. So the goal for today was to drain these batteries down to 20 or 30%, and I think I've just about accomplished that. So you can see me standing there. I'll wave. I don't know if you can really see that, but I can see you. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.